Hey guys, this is Steven from the Green Engineers, and welcome back to my research video series. We again are looking at 3D printer filament. This is the second part for my video looking at the 3DXTech filaments, the rest of the 3DXTech. The first video, well, not the first part of this two-part piece, but the first filaments that we looked at from 3DXTech was their Carbon X. And then now we're looking at some of the other ones that they have. So in the first part, we went through the EcoMax PLA as normal against ABS versus the rest of them. So the standard ones that you're used to versus everything else. Then we looked at polycarbonate ABX, which was our surprise powerhouse as far as toughness goes. As far as toughness and strength and stiffness and temperature stability. Then we have the polycarbonate ASA UV resistant, which was basically similar to the polycarbonate ABS, except for you would use it for UV resistant material so that it would be sitting outside and not degrade the strength of the plastic. Then we had the ESD Save polycarbonate, which is basically only going to be used for if you want something stiff and to be a box for electronics. But there's probably other options that 3DXTech has that's better than polycarbonate in their ESD line, probably the PETG. We might take a look at that. And then we looked at the hips, which we found only to be really excellent in, to find it, I don't know about this, is an excellent standalone printing material. These other ones have better properties. But it's basically really good for a dissolvable support, especially suitable for dissolvable supports. That's pretty much all hips would be used for. Alright, so we have a few more. We got this ion nylon copolymer, the standard ASA filament, normal PETG, high temperature bio PETG, and PETG glass reinforced fiber. So this is our only reinforced one. So besides, of course, carbon fiber and stuff like that. And then maybe we might be able to compare that really quick to the carbon fiber, depending on how long we have left in the video. Alright, so that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So we have our PLA on the left and ion nylon copolymer. Ion nylon copolymer, 3D printer, blah blah blah. Resolvent for a low glass matte finish. So it doesn't really tell you what the part of the polymer, what the other polymer is. Anyways, very low density, already seeing this, even lower than ABS. Oh, it's about the same as ABS. Alright, stiffness, 56. Strength. Tensile strength, it's 11 lower. Quite a bit lower stiffness, just a little bit more elongation, quite a bit lower flex, quite a bit lower, actually it's almost on par as far as the strength. So the strength is pretty much on par with PLA. Definitely about the same temperature stability as ABS, and from there you would think that you'd have the, you actually need to do another 30 degrees C to print. So another higher print temperature, 250 degrees to 270, 100 to 110. So it's a little bit harder to print than ABS. I think it's just another slightly stiffer version of ABS. So let's go ahead and check that out. So obviously PLA's got quite a bit of stuff on it. It's only better as far as the temperature stability. ABS a little bit less strong. A little bit almost on par with stiffness, more flexibility, almost on par with the same stiffness, almost on par, so print it with lower temperature, less electricity, better temperature stability, a little bit, kind of a wash, not really. I mean, this, it just has a little bit higher, just a few higher pieces, not by much. Lower, it's not really looking like it has that big of a leg up on even ABS. It's probably even harder to print at that 250 degree minimum temp. Polycarbonate ABS, 59, way stiffer. Way stiffer, way stronger, way more flex, obviously. What was that, 8 times more flex, quite a bit more stiffness and flexing, quite a bit more strength and flexing, more temperature stability, more heat, blah blah blah. Yeah, so I mean, if you could print this, obviously pick this over the nylon. This has way better properties for pretty much everything. And same print bed temperature, just a little bit hotter on the extrusion temp, starting at 270 going up to 290. Polycarbonate ASA, 260, so about the same print temperature, 55, quite a bit stiffer, a little bit stiffer, 6 megapascal stiffer, quite a bit more flex, about the same flex, quite a bit stronger, same stiffness and flex, 126, 112. So this, if you're gonna do that, do the polycarbonate ASA, almost exact same print temps here. So I would go with that. I would go with the polycarbonate ASA, and you'll have better print stability and just a few other stiffness things and quite a bit more flex. So mainly you'll get a whole bunch of flex out of that. ESD polycarbonate, 68, quite a bit more strong, quite a bit stronger, quite a bit stronger in flex and tensile, not a little bit lower on the tensile elongation, quite a bit higher print temperature, and with that more stability. So you could maybe do this. I still wouldn't do the polycarbonate to ESD. Alright, so what about hips? 43, half the stiffness, twice the flex, quite a bit lower in stiffness and flex, quite a bit lower strength, lower, yeah, hips, yeah. Would probably go with that more than hips. Alright, next one, ASA, standard ASA, 56, more stiffer, less flex, almost twice the stiffness there. Quite a bit here. Give me 1 second. Definitely higher stability, obviously. Just gonna start going through these quicker. Okay, so we have similar, almost identical here for ABS. So it's basically like, it looks like it's a UV version of ABS with just a slightly higher print temperature. So that's interesting. So yeah, it's basically a UV ABS. So with that, I would say go with this over ABS, because ABS doesn't have that quality, and this does with almost the exact same specs. So I would probably go with the ASA. That's very interesting. So ASA would be like an ABS substitute, but it all depends if ASA could be also recycled. Right. Polycarbonate ABS is going to stomp on it pretty much. Okay, so here we go. Polycarbonate ASA. Wow, quite a bit of extra strength from the polycarbonate. But again, the difference is that the ASA, I believe the polycarbonate is not that good at UV. I think ASA is developed for that UV resistance. So I think the polycarbonate is going to affect the UV resistance, while this guy is completely ASA, is full ASA. So 100% of ASA's UV resistance it will have. This will only have 50% or whatever the mix is, like 60 to 40 or 70 to 30 or whatever. Whatever mixture ASA, that's the resistance, the total resistance of ASA's UV resistance that you'll get. This is 100%, this is whatever the mix is. So, but you see quite a bit stiffer, a little bit stiffer, sorry, quite a bit more strength, 3.5 times more flex, 2205, 85, yeah. So, right now what it's looking like is ASA could be an ABS substitute, which is really interesting. ESD polycarbonate, boom, higher, higher, a little bit lower, higher, higher, quite a bit higher. Yeah. Hips, ooh. And it's almost, you know, almost right on with hips and better in a few spots. Hips is getting beat on. Here, this is going to be pretty close, but with the higher print temperature and similar stability, I would go with the ASA and also the UV. So I mean, this also probably takes on water quite a bit. So yeah. Okay. PETG. PETG, we got 40, 56, 45, 2865. 1 second. Excuse me. Quite a bit lower, obviously, PLA. This is 3 times. This is double stiffness and almost double that. A little bit better stability. So how they've been saying is that these are basically substitutes for each other because they could kind of print in similar setups. Obviously the temperature here is quite a bit different. So this is definitely going to require higher temperature, and also the bed, you're going to have a heated bed. So I've seen some people get away with non-heated bed but on PETG, but I don't know if it was this particular one. So sometimes people say that this is a substitute for a higher glass transition temperature and more flex and stuff. Okay, so what about... So it's like it looks like it's a middle ground between ABS and PLA as far as the temperature control, but this has 2.5 times the, it has 4 times the flex and 2.5 times the flex of ABS. So 4 times the flex for PLA, 2.5 times for ABS. But other than that, similar setup here, except for the glass transition temperature. Also pretty similar printing. So if you could print ABS, you could print PETG. Polycarbonate ABS, gonna stomp on it. Polycarbonate ASA, except for of course the print temperature. Polycarbonate ASA is going to stomp on it. Stomp on it. ESD, polycarbonate 270, stomp on it, pretty much. Alright, hips. Hips versus PETG, 45, better, almost as good, better, almost as good, almost as good. So, it looks like if you're going to pick hips versus PETG, only pick hips if you want the higher temperature stability, but you also see that that the temperature is a little bit lower, but the bed temperature is a little bit higher. The extrusion temperature is a little bit lower, bed temperature is a little bit higher. So PETG could be your hips substitute. It has better elongation, generally better stiffness. Yeah. Generally better stiffness and better strength. So I would probably go with most cases PETG. If you want the temperature stability, go with the hips. Alright, ion nylon 45, a little bit stiffer, not as much flex. 2206. Whoa, quite 600 more flex. That's pretty good. So this is pretty balanced, except for here, it's like twice almost. Here, just a little lower here. So yeah, ion, quite a bit higher print temperature. This could be pretty close, probably the ion in most cases there. ASA, 43, similar, more, 2.5 times, 78, better. So this is interesting, probably a more of a substitute for PLA. in most cases. Yeah. Okay, so this is the Thermax GT High Temperature Bio PETG. Also, another thing, if you might not know, PETG also is made in water bottles. Most water bottles and Gatorade bottles and stuff are made out of PET. And then the G part is an extra glycol added to the PETG to create new plastic to allow it to be more malleable and more comfortable to hold, and also more UV resistance and stuff like that. So just in case, like, if you were like myself and not knowing what the G part means, that's what it means. So yeah, here also BPA free, dishwasher safe, and made of 12% biomass. Superior chemical resistance, BPA free, so maybe you could get it to make water balls out of it without any BPA leaching into your water, so you could possibly make something that holds water. I don't know, if like maybe for plants or something. So that's interesting, something to hold plants out of. Because again, similar material that water balls are made out of, right? A little bit more dense than PLA, almost as stiff. Sorry, almost as strong. Definitely not as stiff. It loses all of its strength for the high temperature. Definitely not as stiff here. Definitely not as strong. A little bit better, but that's like ABS. So it's basically you would use this to get it up to ABS's standards. So ABS, stronger, stronger, same flex, stronger, stronger. More print temperature, bed a little bit less. So this would probably be your ABS alternative if you could hit that extruder temp of like 240, a little bit over, 20 over the minimum there. So this would probably be your ABS equivalent. Or alternative. So here, polycarbonate ABS is gonna probably, whoa, a little bit stronger, about just as stiff, 7.5 times the flex, about the same, a little bit more temperature stability. Still, again, this one's for toughness. About the same, polycarbonate ABS about the same as far as everything else except for this strength. So here, yes, 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 no. So this is more stiff, less, more, less, more, more, higher print temperature. Same, a little bit bigger, bitter. So these would probably be the competitors because the PETG, the glycol would cause extra UV resistance. So this would also be similar in that case. All right, BSD safe, polycarbonate. Not really. It's almost the same, but better temperature stability. Hips, almost as good as hips as far as the flex, better temperature stability. So I mean, it's similar to hips, I guess. But with hips, you're a little bit lower temp. Nylon, quite a bit better than the nylon. Lower print temperature. Print this instead of nylon. And this has also got some recycled stuff in it, so definitely pick this over that nylon, the Iowan nylon. Quite a bit better. Pick this over the AS. Oh, this is the standard ASA. So this is where they would, also compete with each other because the glycol adds the UV resistance. So they're both kind of UV resistance. I would probably go with the ASA rather than the PETG because I don't think the glycol itself was added exactly for the UV resistance. Why I think ASA was developed for the UV resistance. That's why they don't really mention that over here. But it looks like if it's got similar UV resistance, obviously you're going to pick this one for most of the similar capabilities. Lower bed temp, just a little bit higher extrusion temp, yeah. So not really much that you would choose that one over the other one. And oops. Finally, the standard PETG versus the high temp PETG 45. This is stronger. That's stronger. Yeah, you lose 2.5 times the flex, maximum flex before breaking. This is like 600 lower. So yeah, you gain quite a bit in stiffness, but you lose it in flex. You gain stiffness, generally you lose flex with materials most of the time. Sometimes you have some weird stuff where you combine a good balance of both, and it will give you some other stuff. So yeah, then again, this one's, like I said, basically like almost like a direct substitution for ABS, especially if you have a lower temperature print bed. Right, 80 to 110, even that's pretty high. Alright. Last one. Alright, so let's see if we can get PETG up to the strength of PLA with glass fiber reinforcement. Specialty glass fiber. Okay, yeah, so basically, instead of carbon fiber, it's fiberglass reinforced. So, not nearly there with the stiffness. I mean, strength, whoa. That stiffness. 3285. But, man, what a tank in the tensile. Flexural strength 77, and flex the glass doesn't help it much in flex. It's just basically ultimate. I mean, just a help in stiffness. It just adds stiffness and a little bit here. But when you pull along with the fibers, but here when you're going perpendicular to the fibers, this is parallel to the fibers generally. This is perpendicular fibers. It doesn't fare very well. However, this is a low temperature, 230 to 260, so you can print this with the same print as ABS. So with this, if it's in tensile, then you would pick that obviously over the PLA, and it's slightly higher. Glass transition temperature is higher than PLA. Flexural modulus is higher than PLA. Flexural strength not as high, but it's got half the tensile elongation. So the fibers definitely lower it. So let's compare it to the standard PETG and the high temp. So quite a bit improvement here. So we're gonna look at the improvement. Twice. So you're doubling the stiffness of the PETG. You're dropping the elongation by 6 times, but also doubling the flexural modulus, but just barely increasing the strength. So you're just increasing the stiffness, because you can't really increase the strength, because the matrix is your resin, which is the PETG, and your reinforcement is the glass fiber. So the glass fiber is just going to add reinforcement inside your matrix, but your matrix is still going to fail at the same strength as it is originally. Plus, it might move it a little bit up, which it did here. So just barely moved it up. So basically same temperature, same print temperature, everything. So yeah, if you want to increase the stiffness here, but obviously if you increase the stiffness, you're going to drastically decrease the tensile elongation. Alright, what about high temp? Whoa, almost the same there. Quite a bit lower, and then but this is two times drop, a little bit over 2 times drop. This is 1,000 under. This is a little bit over, and obviously it's high for a high temp. Very interesting. So let's go ahead and move this over here, maximize this, and maybe, did we forget anything else? They say this is basically crazy highs, like 350°C print temperature. So that's not really what we want to be looking at. So it's like, here's, maybe just look at this really quick compared to the ABS. Oh yeah, it drops the percentage there. So basically we can't, so from that we could tell that the polycarbonate is not actually like polycarbonate. The stuff that you add to make it the ESD, the electrostatic dissipation protection, or the electrostatic discharge protection, it drops the elongation. So here, from the standard ESD compared to ABS, you're dropping by 2.5 times. But you're increasing the stiffness a little bit and not doing much with the temperature. Okay, so that's interesting. So the stuff that you add for the ESD will basically tank your elongation. So here with the PETG, right, 46, let's move these close. 46, barely, a little bit of an increase. Drop here is about a little bit under half the elongation before break with the ESD safe PETG. Then inflection modulus is increased with the PETG ESD, and slightly increase the temperature. What else? So we already looked at pretty much, so those are the really high temperature ones with that. We don't really need to look at that. ABS filament hits. Alright, we have one last one, I guess. Then we have almost all of them on screen that we haven't done already. Alrighty. 47, 2000. So this is basically a obviously it's an ABS. Interesting, the translucent, it increases it a little bit. Translucence increases the elongation by 5%. And you decrease the temperature stability a little bit. Interesting. So it's quite a bit. Premium, formulated, high resin and colorants. So it's ABS, but it's got the M at the beginning. It's a methyl group. Yeah, so it does have absent the odor. So I guess it's saying it has better mechanical properties, but without the odor, or it has more odor. I'd have to look that up. Oh, practically no odor on the very next line. So yeah, this is go with that over the standard ABS. But this you would have to have probably it be see-through. Yeah, these are all translucents. So yeah, go with that if you want translucence. Alright, so time for summary time. We're at 30 minutes. Alright, so we have like what, 11 different things on here. So toughest material. If you want something that is tough, the toughest on here, polycarbonate ABS mix. But remember to check your extruder to make sure that you could hit those 270 to 290 degrees C temperatures, and also that your bed could hit 110 or 120. Also, make sure that you're in an open space, because I've heard that the odor is pretty gnarly. Then, if you want to have something that's just as tough, or close to as tough, obviously half as tough, but you want it to be outside, and it's going to get hit on by the UV, pick the ASA. If it's going to be outside, and it's just sitting outside, it doesn't need mechanical properties, go with the full ASA, which is here. But again, remember, before you guys pick these up, make sure to look through and make sure your printer could be able to print that. Make sure you do that. So, toughest, polycarbonate ABS. Outside, toughest, ASA, polycarbonate ASA. Standard outside UV resistance, ASA. Something that is basically something that is a slightly higher stability under temperature than PLA, do PETG, and that's quite a bit tougher. So better temperature stability, quite a bit tougher. PETG, in between ABS and PETG, but PETG and the ABS see-through are pretty close. So those might be where you just pick the clear. Don't pick any of the ESDs unless it's going to be electronics housing and you're worried about shorting stuff out. Then you pick the ESDs. Otherwise, they increase the toughness. I mean, they increase the strength a little bit, but you get rid of a whole bunch of toughness. So if you want your original material but a little bit of toughness, a little bit more toughness, a little bit more stiffness, then go with that. Otherwise, don't bother, because you're gonna lose all your ductility. Nothing really beats PLA here except for maybe the glass fiber, but the PLA barely beats it out. So if you want something that has the strength, that has the actually it might even be, yeah. So if you want something that is in tensile and has a little bit higher resistivity, go with the PETG carbon fiber, glass fiber reinforced. If you want something that is your ABS substitute, go with the high temp PETG. That is basically it. So again, most toughness polycarbonate ABS. If it's outside and it's under load for something like a solar tracker or something like that, and it's moving a heavy solar panel around with a gear, then you're going to want the polycarbonate ASA. If you have something that's outside all the time, obviously ASA, the full ASA, and it's not under load, it's ASA. It doesn't need to be crazy hard, crazy strong or tough or whatever. If it's going to be just a dissolvable support, or maybe something you're going to mess around with, or maybe it's recycled, then HIPS would be a good one. ABS substitute, PETG, a slightly higher stability under temperature. Substitute for PLA, do the standard PETG or the PETG high temp. And then if you're doing ABS, maybe you go with the clear. The clear is better than the standard ABS. And yeah, that's basically it. Again, stay away from the ESD unless you want to do electronics housing, increase stiffness but lose ductility. Alright, that is basically it. So this is the end of part 2 of this
this video on all of the 3DXTech, all the 3DXTech filaments. Go ahead and check out 3dx.com to look at all these materials. Make sure to check their technical data sheets to make sure that you could print that, watch some reviews and stuff like that, some print reviews, and make the decision to pick one of these up, because they do have pretty good prices for all the different even reinforced stuff. Alright, this has been Steven from from the Green Engineers. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe for more videos like it, my research video series and other series as well. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.
Take it easy. Peace.